Hi, I'm Checky Harling and this is After Party, the show where I interview sustainable brand founders in their natural habitats. Today I'm joined by Rosette, the founder of Revival London, a self-confessed thrift queen with a mission to make slow fashion sexy. Born in Ghana and now based in London, Rosette's work is subtly inspired by West African silhouettes, combined with the energy of 1990s R&B. She was business-minded from a young age, with her journey as a designer beginning with her thrifting garments and reworking them to sell to her friends at school. This was also a way for her to craft an original look for herself, after she realised that her part-time wage in retail wasn't going to deliver the wardrobe of her dreams. With creativity calling her name, Rosette pivoted after studying maths and management, moving on to work in fashion merchandising and e-commerce. Now she splits her time between Revival and working freelance as a content creator and social media analyst. Last year, she showed at Lagos Fashion Week, hosted a presentation at London Fashion Week, and went on ITV News Live, while also collaborating on projects with Levi's, eBay, and TikTok. When she isn't showing her followers how to upcycle a pair of jeans from Vinted into a cute bag, Rosette can be found advocating for greater representation in the fashion industry, or partying in a bejeweled one-piece at Notting Hill Carnival. Welcome to the after party, Rosette.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, how are you doing?
Good, I'm really good. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So I wanted to start by talking about your upbringing. Yes. So you grew up in Ghana with your dad. What was it like growing up there? And when do you think you first started to be interested in clothes?
Yeah, Ghana was amazing. I feel like I had a really fun childhood. Like, I just remember just spending time with my friends, playing, being in the sun, kicking. Like, I used to be like a football person. Like, I used to love playing football with the boys and stuff like that. Eating good food, all of that good stuff. So yeah, I really had a fun and like bright childhood. So yeah, it was good times.
Nice. And how would you like describe the way that Ghanaian people dress and like approach style?
I feel like there's no like one way that Ghanaian people dress. I feel like the core thing is obviously the cultural dress and like traditional attire. So there's that aspect to it, and there's the kente fabric, which is really like, for like the royals, and it's worn for like special occasions, and every single color like means something different. So for example, red and black is more about like mourning and grief, and like purple represents royalty. So I think there's that aspect to it, but in terms of like there being a general kind of theme, I don't think there is one way.
Yeah. That sounds amazing about the colours.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
Definitely a bit of me, because I feel like that's where I draw my inspiration from. I love colour, I love like vibrant stuff. So yeah, it's a bit of me.
And then when do you first think that you started to be interested in like making and like the way that people dress?
I think it's when I moved to London, because obviously I was quite young growing up in Ghana. I moved here when I was like 10, 11. So then I got into like cross-stitching in year 6, and that was like, oh, crafts, like sewing threads. And it was like, okay, this new world that I've stepped into. And that got me interested in like using my hands to create. And then going into school and doing textiles and just taking it to that next level. And yeah, getting my first sewing machine. It was just like a trajectory from then onwards.
Yeah, amazing. And do you remember what you were kind of first making? Like, do you remember one of the first things that you made like in textiles?
Yeah. I remember making like this African print like pair of shorts. Because obviously I had loads of like African print in my home. So I was like, oh yeah, let me just use that. And then I made these little summer shorts, and they were just really like badly fitting. So, first time, yeah.
For yourself?
Yeah.
And then how did Revival start? Obviously we're like whizzing on a bit now, but how did that first come about?
Yeah, there were loads of twists and turns, I guess, from like school into like sixth form college. I got into like vintage clothing and like thrifting around that time. And I found myself wanting to customize the stuff that I bought. So things didn't fit me perfectly. So I'd be like, oh, I want to take this in. So I started like learning from YouTube. Got my first little £50 John Lewis sewing machine. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do something here. And then I think vintage also was like blowing up. People were like customizing stuff more and more on like social media and stuff. So I was like, oh, I want to try a bit of this and see what I can do to make things my own and make things unique. And then I think the Rana Plaza disaster happened in 2013. And that's when like the factory collapsed, and that was like breaking news across like the whole world basically.
For people who don't know what Rana Plaza is, it was in Bangladesh, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a factory in Bangladesh which was really badly structured, and like the workers complained about, you know, the building actually falling apart and there was nothing done. So then it actually collapsed and over 1,000 people died and loads of people were injured. So it was like a huge, massive turning point in the fashion industry as well. I think that's when Fashion Revolution was actually founded. And they're all about advocating for ethical consumption, ethical production. So that was a big moment for me because I was like getting into fashion, and then I was like, oh, fashion's actually like the industry's actually messed up. So it kind of just made me take a step back and think about what is actually going on behind the scenes. And I wanted to create something that was stylish and sexy and fun and creative, but actually was very ethical and like based on sustainable practices, basically.
Yeah. So what does your sourcing process look like, and what did it look like then, and how has that changed, kind of like over time?
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit because I used to partner with this textile sorting factory called LMB Textiles. And they get loads of like dead stock materials from like Levi's, Lee Jeans, like loads of different manufacturers, and they would sell that locally or ship it overseas. But yeah, they've kind of changed their whole entire business model, so they've left me in the dust. So yeah, working with like charity retail partners like Trade, I've been to their warehouse in Alperton to kind of source materials from there, and then also community donations as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what was it like when you went to Trade? Were you kind of shocked?
Yeah, like they have a huge facility. Obviously, you know that there's like hundreds and thousands of garments being repurposed, but like seeing it like live was like, wow. But they have such a like efficient system in place and like machines going and like
mad.
I think hundreds and hundreds of tons of clothing comes through there, but it's going back into the shops, it's getting repurposed and resold, so that's good.
And what kind of drew you to denim? Were you always working with denim?
In my thrifting days, I actually sourced a lot of denim just because like that was like the thing back then. There was like £1 jeans like markets going on. So I just found myself really drawn to denim and like vintage pieces and Levi's. So I was like, I have a lot of this in my wardrobe already, and I'm not wearing all of them like at the same time. How many pairs of jeans can you wear at once? So I was like, let me just start with my wardrobe. So going in there and seeing what I could repurpose from there. So yeah.
Yeah. Basically work like solely with denim. So for listeners who don't know about denim's kind of impact on the environment, it's really like intensive.
Yeah.
In terms of production. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's estimated that it takes around like 2,000 litres or more even to actually create a pair of jeans. So that's from like the growing of the cotton to the dyeing process, actually like average wash cycles. So it's a lot of, you know, water and energy that goes into making a pair of jeans. So to be able to repurpose that and bring it back into circulation is actually really, really impactful.
Do you let the material guide you? What does your sort of process look like?
A bit of back and forth. So I could like start with sketching, start with my mood board and my research, and then, you know, design certain pieces that I want to create, and then actually go and find the materials. Or sometimes I would actually have stuff already that's available, that's I've already got in my wardrobe or people have donated. And then I'll be like, okay, how can I work from this and create something from what I already have? So it kind of flexes depending on where I'm at. Yeah.
Nice. And you work with local female artisans to make some of your pieces?
Yeah, I worked with TN Tailors and a few other like local makers who have like their own businesses, obviously self-employed. So they take on like small projects for me when I have like pop-up stores and I need a small batch of products. So Lagos Fashion Week was last October 2024, and that was an opportunity that came about, I guess, yeah, just looking at what I could do to showcase my brand and take it on an international level. So they have a green access program, which is for smaller designers who are doing things in a more sustainable way. So that's what I applied for, and then yeah, they said, yeah, we want to have you on board. And I showcased 3 looks during their showcase, which was phenomenal. Such
Amazing.
A good time. Such a highlight.
So I want to also touch on your inspiration. So like you're really inspired by like 90s R&B, right?
Yes. I'm obsessed. Yeah, I feel like from a young age, I've always been like drawn to the 90s and the early 2000s. I feel like it was a very expressive and fun like era. And I think they just had like a good time of like girl bands. So that's like kind of my go-to for inspiration. And I'm like, how can I create looks that also show different personalities? Because we're all different and, you know, I don't want everyone to look the same, basically. So it's nice to like draw on the different aspects of a girl group and that dynamic.
I love that. Who are some of your favourite R&B groups?
I mean, the classics like, you know, Destiny's Child, TLC, you know, that's like definitely a bit of me.
And you kind of fuse that with like West African silhouettes, right? So how do you feel like that comes through?
Yeah, I think in terms of like my heritage, being half Nigerian, half Ghanaian, there's a lot of like bold and vibrant silhouettes and very like large shapes when it comes to design. So for example, with the puff sleeve, like being very like large and like taking up space, that's kind of like the energy I want to bring and fuse together with the 90s vibe. So I kind of tie in those kind of elements to my designs.
Amazing, I love that. And we touched on Ghana, and obviously over in Accra, there's the Cantamanto market where a lot of secondhand clothing ends up that we ship over to there. So how do you feel about that, being half like Ghanaian and obviously like working with waste?
I mean, it's one of the largest secondhand markets in the world, and there's so much that goes there, like gets shipped overseas. And it's unfortunate that over the years, the market has actually become like lower quality because of the garments being lower quality. So the sellers aren't able to sell like as much as they get from the bales that they buy. So that obviously resonates with me as someone who's Ghanaian and has lived in Ghana as well. And you can see the impact on how it affects like the local beaches and the landscapes. So it obviously is close to home. So obviously being in this space, it feels like I'm doing something that's really impactful and close to the heart as well.
And then I wanted to touch on your brand partnerships. So you've worked with Adidas, TikTok, Depop, Levi's and eBay, and also Fashion Revolution. So what have been some of your most like memorable brand partnerships?
Honestly, it's been such an honor to like have even been worked with all these brands. When you list them, I'm like, oh wow, I did that. I think Levi's was a really exciting one for me because they're obviously like a denim brand. They're like OGs in the game, and they were on my vision board like as a partnership for years. So we did a 4-part content series customizing denim jeans, and basically just showing customers and the average person how to level up their Levi's basically. So we did applique, we did stenciling with like spray paint and paint, fabric paint. We did like some, like I think it was, we did like pearls and like jewels and like just, embellishing a jacket. And then the last one was like reworking a pair of jeans into a bag. So yeah, that was like one of the top collabs,
So good.
Yeah, so much fun.
And is there anyone else you'd love to work with that you haven't yet?
Oh, that is a good question. I feel like Pangaea would be a really cool one to explore because they're such OGs in the sustainable space. And I think reworking some of their colorful pieces would be really like fun to do. So that could be one,
Yeah, that's cool. Kind of moving away from denim in a way.
Yeah, I want to kind of branch out and see what I can do beyond denim. So that's definitely something that's been on my mind. So this is our patchwork midi dress. Well, I say mid-axi dress because it's kind of like midi maxi. And it's made from all the remnants of other pieces that I've created. So we try to be a zero waste brand. So anything that I cut off when I'm making other pieces, I keep them in a huge bag. And then, patch them all together to make another piece. So this is like a very labor intensive one, but it's definitely like a gem. So I'm really proud of this piece. And people are loving this so far.
So cool. And you've kind of become known for these puff sleeved tops, which you're also wearing today.
These are the puff sleeve crop tops. So these are made from obviously a pair of jeans. The sleeves comes from the legs, and obviously this upper body bit comes from the jeans waistband area. And they've become a really like hot piece, a hot revival piece. So people are loving these shapes, especially for summertime as well. And I think they just bring like a boldness and a fun kind of vibe to fashion, to like, slow fashion. Amazing. Making it sexy.
And on the vibe of making slow fashion sexy, why do you feel like that's important to you? And what would you say to someone who said that sustainable fashion can't be?
Oh no, I'd say no, don't say that. I think when I started Revival, I really wanted to have something that was, again, sustainable and sexy and stylish, but also does good for the planet. And at the time, this is like maybe 10 years ago, there wasn't anything that was like fun, but also sustainable and ethical. It was very much like beige and neutrals, capsule wardrobe. And I was like, no, this is not for me. So I saw that kind of gap and I thought, let's make it fun. People want to look good and do good as well. So I wanted to bring those two bits together.
Nice. And then alongside your brand, you're also like an influencer under Thrift Queen Lola, right?
Yeah, that was more maybe like the first part of my career. So I
Okay.
actually started out blogging. I've obviously closed down the site, but like, yeah, I started off blogging, like covering fashion events, and doing my little personal style pictures and posts. And then obviously Instagram started blowing up. So I was like, oh, let me transition onto there and still be able to share my style and like expand and grow from there. So that was kind of how that happened. And then, yeah, from like me upcycling my own stuff, it kind of grew. And then Revival came along. So yeah, it was more like the element.
And when you were we didn't touch on when you were kind of business minded at school and like thrifting pieces to then like customize.
Yeah. I just wanted to make some extra money. I was like, I want to just, be hustling and getting some more money coming in. Didn't have much to start with. So I was like, yeah, let me make something and just, have fun with it as well.
Do things like showing your followers like how to upcycle pieces into something else, like transforming a pair of jeans into like a cute bag.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank
do you enjoy educating people?
Yeah, definitely. When I started Revival, I definitely wanted there to be an educational arm to the brand because I didn't want to just sell product. I think in terms of sustainable fashion, we have to really shift people's mindsets because we've been in, one way for so long. So I definitely wanted to like run workshops and show people online like how to revamp their wardrobe. So yeah, the content side of things is so much fun. And it's just like, people really resonate with that and they love the idea of trying something new and learning a new skill. So I think people enjoy that as well.
Amazing. And you've also said that there aren't enough black and brown designers in sustainability.
Space has shifted quite a bit since I've been like running my business and being like, content creator. So there's definitely been a huge shift and more people have been shown in the limelight who are black and brown. But I think initially when I started, it felt like a very like whitewashed, very like high disposable income kind of like unreachable kind of thing that was sustainable fashion. But it's become more accessible. People are still able to tap into it from a secondhand and pre-loved angle as well. So you don't have to have loads of money to be able to, shop more sustainably. So I think there's definitely been a shift in that whole entire space. And things like Sisters in Sustainability, which I'm part of, it's like a small collective of black and brown women in that space as well, championing each other, putting each other onto different opportunities has definitely helped to like put us on the limelight. Yeah.
Amazing. What's the collective and what's the mission?
Yeah, so it's a group of black and brown people in the sustainable fashion space, women, should I say. And yeah, we just have a WhatsApp group, literally just sharing content, sharing like opportunities that we see that are relevant for each other. And yeah, supporting each other along the journey because there's not a lot of us, so we have to keep each other going.
And you've also worked on the Minority Report with ASOS, right?
So I was on their Scale Up program, and the Fashion Minority Report is basically like a learning and career development platform for underrepresented groups in the fashion and creative space. So they teamed up with ASOS to run this program, and it's basically to help, up and coming fashion designers who want to scale up their businesses. So that was the program that I did. And it was really, really good. We had like a little showcase as well at the ASOS head office and got to network with incredible people. So it was a great opportunity.
That sounds great. And who was it set up by?
By Daniel Peters, and he runs the Fashion Minority Report and he's a brand and marketing kind of specialist.
Amazing. So what advice would you have for other like younger designers who would want to set up?
I'd say go for it. Yeah. I think look into what angle you want to take. So whether you're upcycling, whether you're using considered materials, really hone into one area and like go all in it. So yeah, I think also have a really clear vision of what you want to achieve and what you want your brand to say to the world. And then I think that would allow you to grow and flourish in your business, because if you don't have a clear vision, then you're just gonna want to cater to everyone. But I've had to like sit myself down and realize that, okay, you can't just meet everyone's needs. You have to focus on what works for you and what your vision is, and then grow from there.
Final question is, if in theory the world were to end tomorrow,
Oh my gosh.
what would you be wearing?
Jackie. Dramatic.
What would you be wearing to the after party?
Oh, I would be wearing a reworked dress of some sort, combining different pre-loved materials like denim, jersey, a mashup of different pre-loved materials, and that choker necklace.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Thank you, Rosette.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing.